Good evening, Marshall Reddick investors. My name is Kristen Tabar. I am a realtor and real estate advisor here with Marshall Reddick, and I am so excited that you guys could join us tonight to talk about the Dallas-Fort Worth market. Welcome, everyone. We've got a lot of people in attendance today, a lot of familiar faces. Thank you, guys, and a lot of new investors as well. So everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys will see a box for questions down at the bottom. If you have a chance, just go ahead and let me know you can hear me. We want to make sure that our audio is working correctly. And let's get started. We want to jump right into the main event. All right, so a little bit about us. Who is Marshall Reddick Real Estate? We are a fully licensed brokerage in California, and we do three things. We work with investors and clients who are looking to buy their primary residence here in California and looking to purchase investment and rental property in other states, where we have our teams in 16 markets from California to Dallas, and we are helping people to achieve their real estate goals. We also are a private money lender for any of you investors out there who are unable to qualify for a conventional loan. We have private lending options that you can use to get yourself into an investment property. And we're also a property manager. We manage properties in Orange County and LA County for our California investors. What is Marshall Reddick's mission? Marshall Reddick is a one-stop shop for real estate investors. We offer education, we offer mentoring and hand-selected property to help each investor achieve their real estate goals, whether that be a long-term goal of building wealth for retirement or a short-term goal of supplementing your current income. We are a place where you can come to get educated, to get advice, and ultimately be able to make an investment decision that makes the most sense for you. And as we are all tuned in tonight to talk about Dallas and Fort Worth, we want to know why. Why do we like Dallas? There's a few factors that go into how Marshall Reddick Real Estate chooses to invest in certain markets. And why Dallas, you ask? Well, a few points. It's a strong and booming economy. They're undergoing lots of growth right now. It's very diverse. Large companies like Liberty Mutual and Toyota are moving their headquarters and generating thousands of jobs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Texas is a very landlord-friendly state. Very important when you're going to buy property. You want to make sure that the laws are in your favor and not the favor of your tenants. And also, Dallas is number 6 on Forbes Best Buy Cities for 2016. So as you're sitting back right now, some of you might be kind of teetering on the edge of which market you want to be investing in. Take that into consideration. Okay, so what are we going to cover tonight? We are going to meet our regional rep for the Dallas market, Amanda Wayo. Some of you on the call tonight have had the great opportunity to speak with her already. Some of you were able to meet her when she made her first trip out here to California a few weeks back. And we are going to talk all about the Dallas market, and Amanda is going to walk us through that step by step. We're going to cover the job market and the economy, as I was just mentioning, and Amanda's really going to dive into what the market looks like and the rental trends. We're going to cover a little bit of financing, Those of you who have never purchased a property before, we'll cover a few of the details about getting started and getting pre-approved for a loan. Those of you who have already been through the process, it'll just be a little bit of a refresher. And after that, we'll get to the main event. We're going to talk about cash flow properties in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. We're going to wrap it up with some info about our great management team out there. And if there's time at the end, we will open it up for some Q&A. So make sure you stick around. Okay, as we get closer and closer to the main event, I want to go ahead and introduce to you Amanda Wayo. She has worked with many of our investors to buy rental property in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She's extremely passionate about real estate. She loves what she does. She knows everything about the Dallas market that anyone could ever want to know. She's dependable. She's hardworking. And as I had mentioned, she was recently in California for the very first time. And it's going to be a special treat for all of you tonight to share the next hour with her talking about Dallas. And without further ado, Amanda, I'm going to go ahead and send it over to you and let you take it away.
Sounds fantastic. And it didn't pop. There it goes. Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to actually get to share my market with you. This is a little bit about me. I'm not going to read it to you, but basically, long story short, I was a nurse for 18.5 years and decided that I wanted to change in my life, went into real estate, and almost all realtors look for a certain niche that fits them, and I have found kind of by accident that investing is my thing. I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenges of helping people find properties that fit them. I enjoy the challenges of trying to get just the right property before somebody else snatches it up. And you really kind of have to have that drive in order to make it in this market. I'm excited to have the chance to work with some of you, if not all of you, and get you the properties you want. And let's move forward. Let's talk about Dallas. If you look on the map here, you can see that there are several large markets in Texas, with Austin, Houston, and San Antonio all being very strong markets in their own right. But Dallas is kind of a two markets in one because you've got Dallas and Fort Worth buffered up against each other. So I don't know, it's my own personal pot of gold going into this area because you have such diverse areas all over the Metroplex, and it's like having a supermarket full of stuff versus the corner market, to be honest. And this is a little more in-depth picture of the Metroplex, and I'm not sure, can you see my pointer, Kristen? Okay. Frisco,
there it is.
You cannot? Okay,
I can.
Okay. You can see it or you can't? Okay. Up here, this area, the Frisco, Allen, Plano, and McKinney, which is just right through this area, these are a strong market area. This is where we've got the bulk of our growth right now. And then on the opposite side of things, we've got Arlington and Fort Worth area down here. This entire area is kind of your tried and true. They don't have as much growth, but they've got ongoing income potential and, I don't know, kind of the strength of the numbers of ongoing, and the fact that it's not going anywhere. It's going to be there today. It's going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be there 10 years from now. Let's talk about the numbers. This is just a breakdown of what we're looking at as far as the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We've got two distinct divisions, with Dallas, Plano, and Irving being one of them, and Fort Worth and Arlington being another. We've got 13 counties, 13 major cities. We're the largest in Texas and fourth largest in the United States. The thing is right now, Plano, even though it's up there with Dallas, Plano, Irving, it's trying to assert itself in its own right. So we may have a triplex of ongoing MSA here in the next couple years or so. At least they want to think so. We've got temperate weather. We actually have a full gamut of weather. We don't get a lot of severe weather, but we do get our fair share of a little bit of everything. We've got good transportation systems. We've got the DART. We've got the 2 different airports. Well, we've actually got a small airport, but the 2 major airports. We've got trains and buses, and in your historic districts, we've got the trolleys and streetcars just for nostalgia. We've got 20 colleges and 17 graduate schools, and if you don't like one college, you can definitely go down the street and look for a different one, because there's pretty much not an area of the Metroplex that doesn't have some kind of college, and there's pretty much not a major that you can't find a college that covers it in the Metroplex. We've got, of course, our professional sports franchises with the Cowboys and Mavericks and Rangers. We've also got soccer teams that Frisco's got a huge soccer stadium as well as the new football stadium going in. Here's our population numbers and our growth, which is, the growth is increasing probably more this year than it has in the past 5 to 10 years because of all of the new businesses coming in, as Kristen was pointing out to you earlier. These are part of the 21 Fortune 500 companies we've got in. And if you look here, some of the growth she was talking about, Toyota, Liberty Mutual, and FedEx, those are bringing in a lot of new jobs. These already exist in the areas, and we have a lot of hospitals in the areas that also employ a lot of nurses and doctors. This is a quick clip about Toyota jobs coming in. And Kristen, do you know if Scott wants us to play that video or just skip past it?
Let's skip past it for tonight.
Okay. It was just talking about the job growth and the jobs coming in, and a lot of the Plano people were a little put out that they think the traffic's going to get a lot worse because of the new people incoming. This is kind of a picture of what we're looking at as far as some of the growth. And if you look here, these are 3 major businesses that are going in right in the Plano area. But if you go further down this DNT, which is Dallas North Tollway, into the Frisco area, down through here is where our new football stadium's going in, and a big mega hotel as well. So we've got growth going up all over the Metroplex. This is just a little bit about the 5,000 jobs that Liberty Mutual is bringing in, and it was, of course, on that last slide as far as where it is. And this is talking about, really, it has to do with our market doesn't keep stuff around for very long. If you've got quality properties and you really want to grab one that you like, you should probably jump quickly, because if it's there today, it will not be there tomorrow if it's of good quality. And I'm going to hand off to Kristen for her first poll question.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Okay, everyone, I hope you didn't fall asleep. I know you didn't, because Amanda is presenting you with such great info. But just in case you're not paying attention, we're going to do a couple poll questions here. We are launching poll number 1. I'm interested in the Dallas real estate market because. Everyone go ahead and select an answer. Keep in mind that your answers are confidential. We're not going to share them with anybody. But please pick one answer. Are you interested in Dallas for the stable and growing economy and job market? Do you want property that will appreciate? For positive cash flow? For personal reasons such as family, maybe you were born there. Or you have no idea which market you like, and somehow you ended up here tonight on our webinar because you just wanted to listen to Amanda and chat about Dallas. Give you guys just a couple more seconds to fill that out. Looks like I've got most people's answers. Give you a couple more seconds. I feel like we need the Jeopardy theme song going on right now. Do, 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 do. All right, you guys don't want to hear my voice singing anything. All right, looks like we've got most of the answers in here. So I'm going to go ahead and share those answers with everybody. Let's see. All right, it looks like more than half of you are looking for positive cash flow. I love it. That's why a lot of people invest. We want to supplement our 9-to-5 jobs and hopefully get ourselves retiring. Tied for second is a stable and growing economy, and we have no idea. So for both of those groups of people, I'm glad you joined us tonight. Rounding out third place is appreciating property, and last but not least is personal reasons. So as you guys can see, a lot of people have a lot of different reasons for where they want to invest and what their motivations are. And we'll have Amanda continue to share with us about Dallas, and you know, maybe at the end your choice will be the same, and maybe you'll change your mind by the end of this. Amanda, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you.
Thank you, and can I just say that those people that aren't sure why they're here, I'm glad you're here. So we're going to, as Kristen said earlier, Forbes Best Buy Cities Where to Buy in 2016. We're number 6 on the list, and our population's consistently growing. Our average home price is up a little bit from last year, and our unemployment's down because we've got all the new jobs coming in. And where you've got good jobs, you've got good income potential because those people have to have some place to live. Okay, let's look at the economic numbers. You've got your home prices versus your rent. Median single-family homes is $188 in 2014. It's up to $211 last year, and I think we're already at $214 this year. Median rent also is increasing along with it and doing its best to keep up with, so that we've still got the good cash flow. We've got good businesses and good jobs, which causes a good gross domestic product. And the best thing about Dallas is the fact that we're below the national average as far as cost of living. We're still affordable, and that keeps people coming back here because they know that not only can they afford to live here, but they can afford to live a comfortable, decent life. This is a picture of our population increase that was put out by the Texas A&M. And as you can see, we kind of have a steady growth. We don't really have any big dips up or down. It's just tried and true and steady, kind of like the turtles. Slow and steady wins the race. It may not be going astronomically fast, but it's still growing. So this is our unemployment. The good thing is it's going down and not up like that last little graph. So this was as of April 2015, which is unfortunately the most recent we have, but we don't tend to have a high unemployment rate in our area. There's a very large variety and diversity of jobs available, and it's more of a, I don't know, smorgasbord of different jobs available. And if you're not interested in what you're doing today, or you don't have a job, look for something that actually interests you and keep going. This is our 25-year historical appreciation trend, and I want to point out, if you look, even during the hardest times where we dip, we don't dip near as drastically as other markets do. And at no point do you drop down in a 5-year period or a 10-year period below where you were 5 to 10 years ago. So you're not going to, even if you have some dips down, you're not going to go back to square one as far as your purchase price. So, and our annual average, I'm going to point out down here, is 3%. And that accounts for even when these dip down to -4s, or -1s. Those average in there, and we still have a 3% annual average growth. I'm going to talk to you about financing the investment property with our preferred lenders, which is AmeriFirst. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about AmeriFirst, and I'm going to first start by introducing you to Reed. Reed is a very easy person to work with. He works very hard and has worked with Marshall Reddick for 11 years. I've had the pleasure of working with Reed, and some of the best things about Reed is in a position to get you all financed, and not only financed, but put in a position to where your financing can compete with the cash deals that come out, because in a market that's as fast moving as Dallas is, you need every advantage that you can get. And as far as a lender goes, Reed's got it. Reed will actually help you get a full pre-qualification, not just the piece of paper that says, yeah, I've pre-approved them, but he's got it to where he can close in 2 weeks in some instances, and that gives you the edge to compete with cash, because your average close time for cash is 2 weeks. And not only will he get that put there for you, but he will also be willing to pick the phone up and say, hey, yeah, I've got this, and this is a really strong candidate, and this is what I'm saying behind them. I'm 100% backing them, and I'm telling you, we've got them ready to go. And that's going to give you a lot more advantage than you might even be aware of. So if you're going to look for a lender when you're purchasing, if you're not purchasing cash, I would very much recommend that you sit down and talk to Reed prior to doing anything else. And here's the biggest thing about Reed is, in addition to all that he's already doing, AmeriFirst will pay for your appraisal up to $650, which may seem like a drop in the bucket, but when it all is said and done, that's a very big thing for you when you're already trying to get all of your ducks in a row in order to get to that closing table and get everything done. It's nice not to have to pay that last little $650. And I know most investors, they're happy for any percentage of the stuff that comes out at closing to be taken care of. So this is Reed's contact information. I'm going to leave it up for just a second so that if anybody wants to jot that down, they can. And I highly recommend that you do. I think I'll move forward then.
Like Amanda was saying, Reed gets you guys fully pre-approved on the front end so that you can compete with those cash buyers, so that when you offer, you put in an offer with Amanda on a property in Dallas, she can take that offer to the table saying that you've been fully pre-approved with your lender, that you can close in 14 days, and that really makes you look like a strong buyer, and it shows the seller that you can compete. And so if your offer is fully pre-approved and you can close in 14 days, you are as strong as a cash buyer. And that's really, really a benefit to you as a buyer, to be able to move that quickly, especially on these properties that are moving so fast.
It absolutely is, because if you want to look at side-by-side comparisons of a person who's with a bigger bank versus with Reed, you're not going to get anywhere if you've got one of the bigger banks backing you, because not only do they not go ahead and be able to get you there in 14 days, but sometimes they'll tell you they can get you there in 30 days, and they jeopardize you by telling you when they hit the 30-day point that it's going to be another 10 to 15 days, and you do not want that, because any deal can fall apart for just that little of a thing. So I want you to be aware of that. And I'm going to go over some hand-picked investment properties that I have myself chosen, and in the process of showing you those, I'm going to show you some of the numbers that I want you to pay attention to, because I want you to get the full picture of what we're looking at. This one, I absolutely adore this house. I kind of laughed today because my mother, when she was looking at it, she thought that was an artist's depiction of the picture on the front. just because it looks so pristine and so well manicured, but that's the way a lot of the DFW properties are. This one's a B-class property, which makes it a little more affordable, but your appreciation's not going to be quite as high. But what I'm wanting you to see is your monthly income, which is here. And I don't want you focusing on this number down here nearly as much as this year because this is going to be your most months. This is going to be based on these numbers here, and those numbers. Those numbers are based on averages, based on what class property it is. And these are not everyday expenses. These are, you've got a vacancy and the leasing fee has to go out because your property manager has to get it re-rented. And you've got your vacancy loss because you don't have the rent coming in. And sometimes it won't even be a full month or more than a week or two, so you don't even have a full month of vacancy that you're looking at. Usually, especially with Angela, I don't see a lot of vacancy time that Angela takes to get things rented. This is your big picture down here. This is what you're looking at, and this is based on your rents. This is based on your amount that you've paid off of your mortgage and your sales price minus your cost to sell, such as your closing cost and your commission costs and everything. So this is big picture down here. This is small picture. This is everyday occurrence or every month occurrence. So I just want you to be aware of what you're looking at. This interior pictures of this house, and I actually like this blue. I think the property manager will probably tell you that needs to be changed, but I wouldn't personally change it. But I like the tile floor. It gives a nice clean appearance. I like the walls, and the way that this is open concept is, I think, an absolute selling point for homes with families or people with families. I think this backyard's also a selling point for people who have families. Cripple Creek, I will tell you before we even flip to that one, it's an A-class property. You'll notice the appreciation's higher. You'll notice it's got really good numbers all the way across the board. And I love the wood in this property. I just think this is a beautiful property. I love the feel of that. There's a warm, homey feeling to that. Your fireplace adds to that. Your kitchen and the way it opens into your living space adds to that. I think it's a beautiful property, and that's part of the reason I put it in front of you. This is my favorite of the three. I know I've already talked the other two up, but I think this is a gorgeous property. Once again, really good numbers. A-class, and your appreciation's reflective of that A-class. And the inside is why I like this one so well, although the curb appeal is quite phenomenal too. I think this is a very regal feeling of place. It makes somebody feel like they're really coming up in the world, and that makes somebody feel good when they have to rent. So I just think that's a darling house all the way across the board. Now we're going to start in. We've only got 2 multifamilies to show you, I think, and on these multifamilies, you're looking also at the same numbers. Your appreciation's based on the class. This is your flow. This one's already got 2 rented of the 2. The outside is pretty. This, I want you to see, this is in Plano. I want you to be aware that this is in Plano. This is one of your hottest markets right now. And to have 2 doors to rent in Plano versus 1 just gives you that much more advantage. And I wish I could actually talk to you right now and ask you, what could you get for that price there? Because I know it's not going to be nearly what you can get on this, which is a duplex with 3 bedrooms and 2 bath properties that rent at a good amount. So this is the interior of this property, and I think it's a phenomenal looking property. It's got a homey feel, and a lot of these surfaces that's going to stand up to the test of time. They're not going to get broken or torn up nearly as easily as some other surfaces. Then you've got Linda's Creek. This is a quadruplex, and 3 of the 4 are rented. Also has very good numbers. This is a little bit further out, but still has good traffic as far as rental numbers. It's a C-class property, which means your appreciation is going to be a little bit less, but this is what you're looking for cash flow. This is more a cash flow property, whereas some of your single families are more of your trying to get your appreciation going, especially your A-class. This is the interior of the quad. And I'm going to hand off to Kristen for poll number 2.
All right, thank you very much, Amanda. Okay, everyone, we are going to launch into our second poll question because the first one was so much fun. Here we go. My plan is to use the following method of purchase. And you guys can pick from the following list: conventional financing, private financing, your self-directed IRA or 401k, cash purchase, or a home equity loan against your primary residence. Again, your results will not be shared publicly. This is all private information, and I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to go ahead and fill that out. I will not hurt your ears with my Jeopardy tune theme song singing again, but we will give everyone just a couple more minutes. How are you planning to finance your first investment purchase? All right, in 3, 2, 1, got most of you in here now, so let's see what we said. All right, and it looks like a sliding majority. 68% said conventional financing. If you can qualify and get pre-approved for conventional financing, it's definitely the way to go. You are going to see the best rates and the best return with a conventional loan. Coming in second place is private financing and cash purchases with 10% each. And private financing, folks, is for those of us who are investing with those self-directed retirement accounts, and also for people who have more than 10 mortgages already. Sometimes the misconception is that if an investor uses private financing, they have bad credit or no credit. So I just want to clear the air. That's not the case. So rounding out the third option here, third place at 6% each is a self-directed retirement account and a home equity loan. So looks like a lot of people are leaning towards that conventional financing. And for those 68%, if you need Reed's contact information and you'd like to get that conversation started, absolutely let us know. We can help you out. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Amanda and talk a little bit more about Dallas.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
And we're going to finish up our evening by talking about our preferred property manager. I know I've already talked up our lender, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Angela. Angela is very responsive. Angela is my right-hand man. Even though we're in different offices, if I need anything, Angela's not afraid to say, hey, I can help you out. She helps me come up with the numbers that I put in front of you as far as rental numbers. She helps me to see whether a property is worth putting in front of you if I have any doubt on it. She lets you know what kind of repairs or renovations you may be looking for in the properties prior to putting them on the market. She takes over from the minute that you close. I hand the reins to her once you're getting to the closing table so that she can jump straight in there and get you rented as fast as possible. I've already worked with her with a number of clients, and I think the best thing about her is that turnaround time, she means business. Another good factor of her is this right here. This property management fee, this is one of the lowest in the DFW markets that I've worked with. And the kind of neat thing that I want you to be aware of is this here, this 8%. A lot of property managers aren't going to give you that percentage until you've got 5, 6, 7 properties rented through them. And Angela's giving you that rate straight off the bat with your first property, and it's special only for Marshall Reddick clients. So I want you to be aware of that as well. She works really hard to make sure that your stuff's out there in front of everybody and that you get the best traffic going and that your house has got its best foot forward. And in this market, that's going to give you all the edge to go ahead and get that property rented and cash flowing for you. It's not going to make any sense to do this if it's just going to sit there and look pretty. You want it to cash flow and you want it rented. And that's why we go with Angela, because she knows what she's doing. I'm going to hand off to Kristen to wrap things up so that we can get to Q&A.
Thanks, Amanda. All right, everyone. So who is your power team? Your power team is everyone who is part of the transaction when you decide that you are ready to purchase a property. Real estate really is a team sport. There's a lot of positions, there's a lot of players, and we want to make sure that everyone is working together and achieving the goal of closing your real estate transaction so you can be a property owner. So you get your one-on-one mentoring every step of the way, and that's with your real estate advisor, such as myself. We'll set your criteria, talk about what your goals are, and evaluate the properties in Dallas and decide which one makes the most sense for you. We look at cash flow properties, single-family homes, and multi-units. When we've decided which one we're ready to purchase, we get Amanda involved. She gets your contracts drawn up for you and takes us through the purchase, takes us through the process. We get your financing lined up with AmeriFirst, and we get your management agreement in place, and we get your property rented with Angela out there at Moxie. So this is your power team. And like I mentioned, I'm an advisor here. And why is that important to you? Why does it matter? Well, let me tell you. I am here to help you through the process. So when we have our call, we'll get that scheduled at a time that is convenient for you. We'll set your goals. We'll talk about where you want to invest and why. Some of you tonight who want to invest in Dallas for the cash flow properties, that's what we'll look at. If you happened upon this webinar because you kind of fell out of the sky like Dorothy did in The Wizard of Oz, then we'll look at a couple properties and find the one that fits your needs the best. And you can create a free account on our website at marshallreddick.com. And this will give you all the access you need to our events, to our education, to our properties, and you can also request a consultation online, and we will go ahead and set that up for you. And here's my information when you do set up that consultation. We won't chase you. We don't want to waste your time with phone calls and emails. We want to help you to create your long-term wealth with an investment in real estate at your own pace when you're ready. So when that time comes, give me a call or reach out to me via email. My phone number is up here at the screen at 949-885-5162. And my email address is ctabar@marshallreddick.com. So you can reach out to me in any way that is convenient for you. I would love to hear from everybody. And since we have a few extra minutes, I wanted to go ahead and open up some questions. I've got just a few that have been coming in here, and don't be shy, everyone. If you have questions about anything that Amanda brought up during the presentation, feel free, and we will try to get to everything that we can. So, Amanda, this question comes from Kulvinder, and I'm so sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. But he has a question about the rents that are shown. And he wants to know how we arrive at those rental numbers.
Those are actually discussed with the property manager. They are based directly off of the properties that have rented or around the actual thing. She and I work together to get the numbers just right so that we know approximately, and we always err on the side of conservative because we'd really much rather under-promise and over-deliver than the other way around. Angela goes in not only as far as the city or whatever, she goes all the way into a subdivision level and gets the closest matches to the properties possible in order to come up with those numbers. I hope that's clear. Does that make sense, Kristen?
That does. Thank you. And Kulvinder, if you could just type us in a little reply and let us know that that was clear to you as well. Amanda, I've got another one here, and I think you touched on it, but this question comes from Jason. He wants to know what the turnaround is from the property management and how long on average the properties are vacant.
Well, from what I've seen, the ones that I've dealt with this year thus far, we're looking at 12 to 14 days average turnaround, but that's including any and all repairs and renovations, and that's from the day of closing till the day it's rented. Not a lot of downtime. If there's extensive repairs, it will be a little bit longer, but not a lot, nor not compared to some of the other properties in the market, because the fact that she really does give it her all, and she pre-markets while it's getting repaired so that you're facing as little time as possible.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I've got, give me 1 second here. Let me pull up another question. We'll get some rocking and rolling. I have a question from Venki. Venki, do you help in identifying distressed properties, auction properties, and get that rehabbed and resell? For all of those you listening here whose intention is to have a strategy such as this one where you're looking to fix and flip, we are not a fix and flip company. We don't look for flipping properties. We don't look at wholesaling properties. We look at a buy and hold strategy to create long-term wealth as a long-term investment. So hopefully that answers your question, Venki. And anyone else who's listening in, our strategy as an investment is to buy and hold. Amanda, this question comes from David. Are there A or B class homes in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the $120,000 to $150,000 price range?
There are B class properties in that price range, but not really very many A's. You're going to have to go up closer to $200,000 for A class properties. But you can get some solid Bs that are really worth the money at that price range.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Amanda. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have here? Keep them coming in, guys. We'll get to as many as we can. I have one here also from Kulvinder. Financing rates and fees from AmeriFirst, are they comparable with outside national lenders? The answer is yes. Their rates are going to be
very comparable.
And in addition, sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
They're not only comparable, but they're competitive. They're actually in some cases better than you can get from other lenders. And I would actually put them up against any big lender any day, because you're not going to get your numbers with your big lenders.
Thanks, Amanda. Okay, a couple other ones that I'm going to address for everybody. I see a couple questions coming in. Lana asked how often we do this webinar because she'd like to share with some friends and family. The good news for everybody is that this webinar is actually being recorded as we speak and will be posted on our website on the Learn page tomorrow. So you will be able to re-watch the webinar, send it to your friends, all that good stuff as soon as it gets posted on our website. So those of you who are curious, you will be able to see it again. And here's a question, Amanda, for property management. Does the property manager charge the monthly fee if the property is vacant?
No, you're going to get your monthly fee is only when it's being rented, and your other fee, your vacancy fee, basically is only when you're trying to get it rented. And I know that number may seem like a little bit larger number, but I need to break down for you that number covers not only getting it rented, but also covers your other agent who brings the new tenant. There may be outside agents that bring them in, and they get a compensation as well.
Thanks, Amanda. And by the way, everyone, as we're going through, let us know if you have any follow-up questions and if we answered your questions thoroughly. If you have any additional questions, feel free, type them in. We're going to get to just a couple more before we let everyone get back to your regularly scheduled evening. This one comes from John. Amanda, how has rent gone up or down over the years compared to the home prices?
It takes a little bit for it to catch up, but overall it's staying at this point still pretty much even with what you're needing it to be in order to still cash flow. Right now in North Dallas, we're in what I call a hiccup, that basically since the beginning of the year our home prices have gone up a little bit, but it may be another month before the rental market reflects it. But I can tell you that it will reflect it. It's a matter of supply and demand, and with as many people as we have coming into the Metroplex and as many renters as we have coming into the Metroplex, you're going to be needing to be a little bit more competitive and trying to get you're gonna actually have numbers go up, not only based on what Angela would set, but also when you have 2 or 3 people wanting the same property, those prices will go up because of that, and that sets your bar a little bit higher as well.
Thanks, Amanda. All right, we've got one more, maybe 2 that we'll have time to get to. We want to get out of here right about 7:30. This one comes from David. Are most of your properties selling at or above market price?
It depends on where you are in the market. I will not give you an end-all be-all answer to that, but what I will tell you is when you have a property that interests you, I will take the time to sit down with you and show you what that property's market is like. So if it's selling above, I can show you that it's selling 101% of list on average in that area, or if it's selling below, I will encourage you to go ahead and try to drop it down a little bit because it may be selling at 98% of the average in the area. Different markets are different days, and just because something's selling at 101% today doesn't mean that in 6 months it might not be selling for right even or just below, and it's kind of a fluctuating, fluid thing. So there is no solid answer to that.
Thanks, Amanda. All right, guys, we are going to go ahead. I'm going to take a couple more. Is there any benefit in buying all cash versus financing? The benefit to buying all cash, if you're working with a finance buyer who has not been fully pre-approved, is that there's several speed bumps that can be encountered along the way when they're working with a major bank. And also there are guidelines and regulations that you have to follow, that every lender has to follow for a closing transaction. So as we had mentioned earlier, Reed's team can get you fully pre-approved. That means your file has already been underwritten and it has already been approved fully on the front end for your purchase, which means they can close that transaction in 14 days, which is about the length of time it takes to do a cash purchase. Now, with a cash purchase, there's no contingencies for financing. There's no waiting. There's no chance that anything could go wrong as long as that cash buyer has proof that they have those funds. So in some cases, if you get a cash offer and you get an offer from a buyer who is financing, even if your cash buyer offers a little bit less, some sellers will decide to go with that offer simply because it's cash. Some sellers have that in their mind and there's no swaying their opinion. Other sellers will see a finance offer that's been fully pre-approved, it's as good as cash, and a cash offer, and if the buyer who is financing has offered a little bit more, there's a chance that they'll go with that one because they know that it'll close as soon as the cash offer would and that it's just as strong. So there's a couple of different factors at play there. I'm sorry that that was not a very short, quick yes or no answer. But there's always
factor, though, Kristen, another factor when they're asking that also, another advantage from a Marshall Reddick standpoint is the fact that your numbers, your cash flow is a little bit higher because you're not paying that interest rate, you're not paying those mortgage fees.
Correct. So that can be a benefit to you, the investor, if you have cash and you want to make a cash purchase. Here, let's do one more, Amanda. What's the rate of new construction homes to meet the demand of people moving to Dallas?
We've actually got a lot of growth in North Dallas and this side of the Metroplex. There's not a ton of new growth down towards Fort Worth, but you don't have as much demand for that growth in Fort Worth. The only bad side of things as far as that goes is at some point the road systems construction is going to have to catch up to accommodate all the extra people that are flooding into this part of the Metroplex.
Perfect. Thanks, Amanda. I want to thank everybody else for joining us tonight. A lot of great information covered. If we did not get to your question tonight, I promise we will reach out to you tomorrow and address all of those questions, make sure that everybody knows exactly what is happening in the Dallas market, what's happening with finances, everything from looking at property to management we can go ahead and review with you. And Amanda, thank you so much for spending the last hour with us and chatting with us and our investors talking about Dallas. We really appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure, and I appreciate everybody that joined and stuck around for the rest of it.
Thank you so much, and everybody have a great evening. Enjoy your families, enjoy your favorite TV shows tonight, and we will talk to you very soon. Thanks for joining us.